what's up, guys? It's Brian 10,000, and I am with Bots Obsession. Uh, my my friend here is a master of the Transformers, uh, and knows way more about them than I do. But today's video, we are discussing about the which is actually better, being a Maximal slash Predacon or being a Decepticon slash Autobot in alt modes, which is basically we're comparing Beast alt modes versus vehicle alt modes. Which ones we think are better, which ones we think are worse. You know. So I guess we'll go ahead and just kind of start with which one do you think is better, Nod?
I've before this I told you I was kind of writing down some pros and cons. And as I'm writing down the vehicle pros, I'm like, it's way easier to think of vehicle pros than I think like beast pros.
Hmm.
So I think being a vehicle might be just a little bit better.
All right. I like it. I like it. And then and
Yeah.
mine is like we were discussing before I hit record. Um, I kind of have took it as there really isn't a better or worse. There is a just depends on what you need the alt mode for. I will say this though, I can see why people would think vehicle modes would be better, and here's the reason why. My big reasoning: military vehicle modes.
Yeah.
That's kind of hard to argue. Like I transform into a giant tiger. I'm literally a fighter jet with missiles. I think I win.
I'm an Apache attack helicopter.
Literally. Lots of explosions. I mean, and also we're talking about like, when we're talking about Transformers, so obviously like that doesn't really determine the winner because like
Yeah.
obviously both whether you're a Maximal, Predacon, Decepticon, Autobot, whatever, obviously you're a robot with weapons, so that's not a deciding factor in the end. But I'm just saying, if we're comparing animal modes versus vehicle modes, I would argue like military grade vehicle alt modes are kind of hard to argue against.
A little bit. A little bit.
I mean, it's like being. I will say this though. Beast Wars actually, I think started this. You've I've talked about this before. How
Mhm.
it's kind of reshaped how Transformers fight with their alt modes, and
Yes.
because Beast Wars started doing it with their animal modes. We're like, oh yeah, why wouldn't they be able to fight? Like Dinobot can literally pick up a gun as a raptor,
Yeah.
you know. So
Yeah, I think
Tigertron,
Megatron also like has like a hunting rifle at one point or
yeah,
something. He has some pretty silly things.
yeah, and like, and then of course when we get to the transmetal stuff, like then they're literally like, they've got things they can do that are not like just animal stuff. Like obviously like Rat Trap, like one of the things that people forget about is like that literally his tail is his weapon or one of his weapons.
Yeah,
If like realistically, if he was to go at the fastest speed he can go in whatever that weird like rat with wheels mode is called,
yeah.
buggy
I
mode
think
or
one of the other
whatever.
things we should clarify before getting too deep
Oh yeah,
is we're going to be comparing straight vehicle characters to Beast Wars style animal modes. So like
yeah,
characters like Weird Wolf and the Decepticon Headmasters and the Dinobots
yeah. They're
are
kind of in their
and
own.
the original G1 Predacons and like
Yeah,
Deathsaurus over here, they're
yeah,
not included in this argument. They're a
yeah.
completely different breed because when you get into like the robot animals, like
Mm-hmm.
the Dinobots breathe fire. Like
Yeah,
it gets it gets a little. They
they
do
get a
whatever they
little.
want. It's
Yeah, the Dinobots
yeah,
don't exactly. They literally break all the rules with all of this.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
So so like monster modes and things like that, like
Yeah,
Abominus and the other and the G1 Predacons not included those
yeah,
characters. This is straight up like G1 Autobots and Decepticons alt
like
modes.
yeah,
Not explicitly those, but like that kind of transformations versus like Beast Wars style transformations.
right. Um, so there are like we were discussing before we were recording, like there's obviously plenty of pros and cons. Like
Yes.
for example, like I said, like also like a lot of the vehicle transformers are bigger than the animal ones
Yes.
would be. I know that people might be thinking of the movie, like, but to be like the way Beast Wars was set up is Beast Maximals and Decepticons, or excuse me, Maximals and Predacons were actually smaller for the most part. Like there were some exceptions, and there would be like Rhinox and Big Convoy would obviously be closer to the size
Yeah.
of like a, because of what they turned into. They would be closer to the size of like a regular Transformer, but like Dinobot, Cheetor, Rat Trap,
Yeah.
uh, Scorponok, they're all supposed to be smaller than.
Especially the bugs.
Yeah,
They are way larger than they should be.
yeah, they're kind of that weird thing, like because for the most part you were supposed to transform into something that you were closer to size of,
Yeah.
but Rat Trap is obviously like he's more like the size of a dog. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
He's a
And
big rat.
he's a
He's like a
he,
South American rat.
he's like a New York rat. Sorry, it's a
Yeah,
bad
the
joke.
Beast Wars guys don't really do mass shifting, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
There's not a lot of that happening. Whereas like, because like Megatron, he'd do like a gun, and it's a gun that like is clearly very
yeah,
very small, and like same with Soundwave and Blaster,
yeah.
they
They
shrink
shrink
down.
down. Yeah, so
But the
it's
Beast
like
Wars guys, they don't really do that. They just make their alt mode bigger.
yeah, which is kind of like which I guess further away kind of like wouldn't matter like with Waspinator like because he can fly, you know. So like if he was far
Yeah,
away, you wouldn't really register it. Although you and I would because we'd be like, how
that's a
big
that's a
that's a
big
big ass
bug.
fucking bug. I've seen this horror
Ugh.
movie. Oh hell no. And I trust me, I run faster scared than Cheetor does angry. Okay, I'm if I I'm just saying if I saw that giant ass waspinator in bug mode just around the sky, I'd be like that fucker's as big as a jet. Cheetor's gonna be like jumping gyros. Where'd he go? And I'm just like 6 miles out, like nope. I saw this horror movie. It's not gonna be me. Everybody walking by will be like, damn, I didn't know that short, fluffy guy could move that quick. Shit, what's he running from? Because if I'm running, you should be running. I'm just saying. Anyway, sorry, I got a little off
Yeah,
topic there with my.
no,
I went
it's
on a
all good.
tangent. I'm just saying that would be terrifying though. Like if we saw Waspinator in the real world, he would be kind of intimidating. Well, any of the bug bots, really, in my opinion, like good or evil, whether it's Black Arachnia, Tarantulas, Scorponok, Waspinator. I think those would be the most terrifying out of the beast bots. Just because, like,
Yeah. Oh
insects
my
are kind of
god,
creepy looking.
I cannot look at Beast Machine's Black Arachnia's alt mode. It gives me the wigs. I hate
Yeah,
it. I
I
do
don't.
not like her alt mode. It scares me.
Yeah,
She's the like most of the Beast Machine's characters look better in their alt mode, but
mhm.
hers, I'm like, no, get that creepy big spider thing away from me. I hate how huge it is. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's
At
bigger than
least
a gorilla.
I will say this. At least it is an intimidating alt mode. I will say that it's
Yeah,
definitely like she does creep me out too. But like that whole series is kind of a weird.
yeah,
It's a mismatch. Like good story,
yeah. It's all
good.
kind of
Yeah, it's like I'm not like
unappealing.
yeah, it's kind of got it's a mixed bag. It's a mixed bag. Like let's be real, the robot modes for the Maximals, everybody hates them. I hate
Nope.
them. There's elements that I kind of like about Cheetor, but the rest of them I hate all of them. Actually, in
Rat
fact,
Trap was almost so good, except they took his legs.
they made it for me it was his face I couldn't stand. He was just
I
sitting there
don't
like
mind it so much.
I was like
I just wish he had legs.
I kind of liked the wheels, but I also didn't like that they took away all his weapons either. Like, how cool would it have been him to have wheels and just being, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like they took away all his weapons.
poor
Anyway, sorry.
guy.
Yeah, Beast
Yeah,
Machines is kind of like also the weirdest one out of them because like they're like organic transformers, which
techno organic.
yeah,
Yeah,
which to me was not very well done. Like I feel like if they were gonna go that route, like what they do to the Transmetal Twos was the better a representation of that
yeah,
because they were like, oh yeah, I'm part machine, I'm part animal. It's kind of like a little mixed bag in both modes.
yeah.
With
They
it,
have the vehicle mode and then they have the beast mode.
yeah, and they were,
Yeah,
yeah, and the way, and I mean Transmetal Twos, where it was kind of like they had scales, they had fur, but they also had parts that were showing there was still a machine in there. You
yeah,
know, I think that was a better representation of what they were going for with that, but they were going for more of like, oh, it's on a cellular level. So now, like, so you get these weird, like, basically like symbiote transformers.
yeah. They're very very weird looking.
Yeah,
Um,
And like I said, Cheetor was the
So
only one that I found remotely appealing, and that's until you get to about the waist down. Then I'm like, what the fuck is happening
yeah.
here?
So I've put down some beast pros so
Okay, yeah,
far.
yeah. Let's see.
So they're smaller.
Yeah,
They're canonically more energy efficient, as
that's true.
we discussed a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
Um, the like pseudo skin that they use is described as like protective against radiation. So
Oh, that's
high,
that's kind of a
specifically,
bonus. That's kind of a
yeah,
good
specifically like
bonus.
high energon levels, but assumedly they could modify it to work for any radiation level, which is
Yeah.
pretty useful. Um, the movement in them, like this comes from the
Yeah.
Transformers
Yeah.
tabletop RPG book, is
Oh,
you
okay.
have more movement in, according to that book at least,
Well, it
with a
does
beast
kind of make
mode.
a little bit of sense because like obviously like
Mhm.
the Maximals could go up a mountain, whereas like let's be real, in order for the Autobots to do that, they're gonna have to go into robot mode and climb.
Yeah,
So
yeah, unless you're like a half track or something.
yeah, I mean, there's obviously there's exceptions
Yeah,
obviously, but we're comparing like basic stuff. Like let's be
yeah.
real, uh, Hot Rod and Hot Shot and Bumblebee, they're gonna have to go robot, and
Yeah,
Optimus, they're
they're
all
gonna
gonna
have
have
to
to go
walk.
robot. Yeah, they're gonna have to up that mountain, whereas everybody else is gonna
Um,
be like, man, Optimus Primal is gonna be like, bitch, watch this.
yeah,
I don't even got to be in robot mode.
that's kind of a point in Rise of the Beast too.
Yeah.
Is that they're like, oh man, and then Primal's like, all right, I'll meet you over there, and he just monkeys his way over there.
Well,
um,
yeah.
the final one I had was the kind of built-in weapons. So like you got your claws, your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
For the bugs, you have your stingers.
For the
Snake,
ant, and some of
fangs.
them,
Yeah,
also
whatever.
have like prehensile like fingers and stuff like Dinobot and
Oh
Optimus
yeah,
Prime, Primal.
yeah,
They have they've got hands, so they can literally
yeah,
operate weapons without the need of being in a robot mode.
yeah,
That's kind of a neat
yeah,
trick there. And then when we get to the transmetal stuff, like I mentioned, they've got like they almost have access to some of their robot weapons in animal
yeah.
mode. So that's
Yep.
another bonus on that one. Um. Anyway, continue. Sorry, I interrupted you.
Yeah, that was all the pros I wrote
Oh,
down for
okay.
beast modes.
All right. I guess we
That's
need
all
to
I
go.
could think of at least.
All right.
Um,
So I guess that means now we got to talk about the pros for vehicle modes, which I'm gonna
yes,
say size is an obvious one because like they're let's be real,
yeah,
Autobots and Decepticons for the most part are bigger, much
yeah.
bigger than
A lot
Maximals and
of
Predacons.
which I wish we had a little bit more information about that era of Transformers because there's not a lot of lore about like because then you get like Beast Machines is the closest we get to knowing if it was if it's just if all of Cybertron kind of just gradually shrank because if that's the case then presumably there's the Viacons are the same size, right? So
Mm-hmm.
presumably those vehicles are smaller, so vehicle transformers being larger wouldn't be a factor, but we don't really know a lot about the
Yeah,
switch over from Autobot to Maximal,
yeah,
that
and there's also a
change.
lot of they're very
So
vague about that, and also like we
yeah,
still have like we were just discussing earlier, we still have Maximals, Viacons, and Predacons that are actually pretty close to the size of a vehicle still, like Rhinox, Big
yeah,
Convoy, Tankor. Uh,
yeah,
they're all they're all the size or close to the size of what they turn into. Like I don't know.
yeah,
Tankor also looks like he might be bigger than Rhinox. Like even I know they're the same person canonically, but
yeah,
I just mean like as Tankor, he looks bigger than he does as Rhinox. But
yeah. And going by comics, Tankor is the same size as Octane, who is
okay,
a G1 character. So like I said, there's no great way to scale them because the only real image we have is Megatron and Optimus in front of Prime's like head,
yeah,
where it's just massive compared
yeah.
to them. Um,
Which
so some other pros I put. Oh, sorry.
no, go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Oh yeah, some other pros I put down for vehicles is they could be faster. You have stuff like supersonic jets. You have stuff like the SR-71 Blackbird. You have sports cars.
Mhm.
Generally,
Yeah,
they're going to be faster.
whereas for the Beast Transformers to get close to that, they have to take like an alt mode. Like Cheetor is the prime example,
Yeah,
and even then they got to go to like Transmetal or Transmetal 2 to match that kind of speed.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I also argue durability might also be a factor. I mean, I know that they're
Yep.
both robots.
That's literally my next point is like heavy duty
Yeah.
is
But I think it makes logical sense. Like obviously Tankor is going to be a lot harder to hurt. I'm using him as an example because he's kind of like that weird middle ground between the two. Like,
yeah.
you know what I mean, between the two eras that we're kind of comparing here.
Yeah.
But it makes logical sense to me that he would be harder to hurt than say someone who's equally as big, maybe like Tigerhawk, for example. I think he's probably would be a comparable size to Tankor.
Yeah.
He's like that. For those at home who don't know who Tigerhawk is, he's like a fusion between Air Razor and Tigatron.
He's like a big Silverbolt.
Yeah, kind of like a big, exactly. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's kind of the same thing, really. It really that's a really great comparison. They're basically the same.
Yeah, hang on. Hold
Yeah.
up, instead of a wolf.
Yeah, just tiger head instead of a wolf head, and it's literally the same alt mode. Yeah, there is a.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I guess they were running out of creative ideas on the Beast Wars team back then. I don't know. Which is really sad.
Flying stuff is cool. Flying wolves and tigers are cool.
Yeah. But it's also really funny. It's like when we find out like Tigerhawk actually only existed for like 3 episodes.
Yeah.
And then they blew him up. But like, anyway, the point that I'm getting at is like, it does make sense to me that Tankor would be harder to damage because like tanks are heavy armored vehicles. And it's not to say that because obviously they're still a transformer, right? They're they can be thick and hard to hurt too. Like as Rhinox, he was still thick and heavy. He just was. I don't know. It seems logical to me that that Autobots would be tougher.
Yeah. We also had a little bit of a discussion about the my example was Spotlight, Shockwave, and Grimlock, where the Dinobots, which I know we said we weren't going to include them, but it's kind of important for this example, where they had the synthetic like Beast Wars skin in that comic, and it was protecting them not only against the radiation, but it was also like eating damage from Shockwave. So potentially and whether or not this carries over into the Beast Wars stuff, whether or not that technology changes or whatever, because presumably if the Dinobots are using this is early technology. This is early iterations of that. So but it does exist. We've seen examples of that. So there is reason to believe, but yes, I also think that a truck is stronger than a monkey for lack of a better example.
Right. Or if we wanted to go something that's a little more size comparable, let's be real. I do think Optimus Prime is more durable than Leo or Big Convoy from Beast Wars. Even though they're probably comparatively size probably about the same. Let's be real. It just makes sense to me that Prime is going to be a little more durable.
Yeah.
I know the truck not monkey people are like, see, we were right the whole time.
Yep. I'm not a truck not monkey fan. I never mind. I don't have very many Beast Wars things on my shelf. But I'm not a Beast Wars hater.
Yeah.
I'm not a Beast Wars hater though.
Yeah, it also kind of doesn't make sense to be really because like there were animal transformers in G1, so to me it seems silly to be mad about it because like what's his name, the big T-Rex one that's like Godzilla for the Decepticons.
Oh, Trypticon. Like, okay, there you go. He's a big ass dinosaur. And then we got like the Dinobots, and then you've got whatever the fuck Skylynx is. I know we wanted like you said, we weren't gonna bring it up, but like it's kind of Scorponok, the first Scorponok. You want to talk about middle ground? Skylynx is like the ultimate middle ground.
Yeah, he's like, I will forgo a robot mode. That's basic bitch shit to me.
I will have 3 beast modes.
I will have 3 beast modes. And 3 robot modes, or vehicle modes. Fuck you. Who needs a robot?
Yeah, because he has the combined shuttle mode, the platform, and then the singular shuttle. And then now he has a base mode?
Yeah. And
he turns into a launch base for himself?
Yeah, and then there's also versions of him that are like a combiner. so he combines them
Yeah,
together.
that's how that one works. He splits and
Hmm.
turns into the links. So yeah, he is everything and nothing all at once, and I love
Yeah,
him.
yeah, he's definitely that weird middle ground for this particular topic.
He
Um,
is the prime example of this argument.
yeah, I would say
um
though for stealth purposes, it's just give and take on that one because
yeah.
because obviously in a city vehicles are going to be depending on the kind of vehicle it's not going to be noticeable. Although to be fair, to be honest, I don't think in a lot of the media, that especially the newer media, the
Mhm.
Transformers are kind of bad about sticking with low quality, like
Yeah, the
especially in
whole
the Bay
robots in
movies.
disguise thing is thrown out the window.
Yeah, the especially in the Bay movies because like they're also like
Yeah.
the flashiest cars you could pick to turn into.
They always have been. That's been the thing is G1 like Wheeljack is a Lancia. Do you know what a Lancia is? It's a prototype car.
it's
It doesn't it's not a it's there's only like 500 of them.
oh, so there you
If I
go.
saw a NASCAR Lancia driving down the road, I'd be like, "Holy shit, look at that guy.
You'll be like,
That
what
dude
the hell?
rich."
Optimus
And then
is
three of them turn into Lamborghinis.
Yeah, and then you look at Optimus Prime, and he is a decked out like semi. Like his semi is like shiny
Oh yeah, the
and like
Prime one. Yeah.
yeah, he's all like I'm looking at him like, bro, you were not hiding anywhere.
Or the Michael Bay one, yeah. With the well, now
Yeah,
they blend in because you see trucks that are dripped out like Optimus all the time now.
yeah. No, I just meant like when
But
the Bay movie came out, I
yeah,
was all like, you ain't hiding shit.
yeah, I was like, that's a fancy truck. That's a nice Peterbilt.
Yeah, the
Um,
Decepticons were better at hiding than the Autobots were.
they're just military vehicles,
All of
just
them,
like
all of them.
a tank,
Okay,
and a
a cop
jet, and a
car, like
copter, and a cop.
yeah,
The cop car is the most conspicuous one because it
yeah.
has a Decepticon badge on it.
It's like it's literally, but anyway, in a city, like you see a cop car, it doesn't nothing. It doesn't
Yeah.
register. You wouldn't take another
I don't
look.
know if I get stopped and the cop has a Decepticon badge on his car, I'm pulling away. I ain't. Nuh-uh.
Nope.
He's gonna shoot me.
It's like for sure. Yeah, I was like, no, you got a Decepticon symbol. You're a shoot first,
You
ask
got a
questions
Decepticon symbol on
later.
your car. There's an Autobot badge on my sun visor. This isn't gonna end well.
No,
This is a bad
no.
time.
So like, yeah, there's some commentary there for those. You could put that together yourself. Um,
Barricade's always been commentary.
oh yeah. But like I was still gonna say is the Decepticons seem like they were better at it. Like so for stealth, also like if we're gonna go to the
Yeah.
animals now for the stealth talking point, some of them are better at it than others. Let's be real.
Oh, the birds. The
The
birds.
birds, the birds, Cheetor, Optimus Primal, they were okay. They were good, but like the bugs and the dinosaurs,
Yeah.
like no, all of you are bad at this deception thing. Like let's be real.
And
Beast
then
Wars,
like if they're not technically Beast Wars because they came in from War for Cybertron Kingdom. The
mm,
fossilizers are bones. The
yeah,
fossilizers are just bones.
they look cool. They look sick. Let's be
They
real.
do.
They
They
look cool as
do.
hell. But they are, and the whole being like armor for other Transformers and weapons is like a neat gimmick. But I will say this: you're not fooling anybody. I mean,
No.
unless Transmutate just wants to sit there like this,
Yeah, unless they're just
they'll,
museum pieces.
they'll never know it's me. Oh shit, it's me. They didn't buy it. Optimus, this was a bad idea.
I knew turning into bones was terrible.
This was a bad idea. And then we have Rat Trap. Well, we're all gonna die.
Oh yeah, the rat. The rat would be a good
Yeah,
one.
if he
Yeah.
was the size of a rat.
Yeah. That's the
If-
problem is some of them just are way too large. But yeah, like the bird
Yeah.
ones and like the tiger and like some of
Yeah.
those ones
Yeah,
maybe
yeah.
depending on
I will-
location.
I will say this: Beast Wars second with because they go back to a normal 2D animation style. They
Yeah.
do a better job of it for the most part, like size wise for these guys.
Mm,
Because I'm pretty sure some of them actually do the thing, the shrinking thing, like you and I were talking about with Megatron.
yeah.
Um,
I actually have a con for the beasts that I pulled directly from those old 2D things, and I'll talk
okay.
about it when we
Alright.
get to cons.
Okay.
So
But yeah, like we're definitely so yeah. It's kind of funny though. Like that one's kind of like pretty even across the board. Like because like when it comes to
Yeah,
stealth, both camps have bad examples of them like being the wrong
yeah,
size, being a little too flashy of a vehicle. It's kind of like, oh, you're not doing
yeah.
the hiding thing. I see robots
Like
in
Prime
disguise.
RC, Transformers Prime RC probably could blend in anywhere. Just kind of like Air Razor probably could feasibly blend in anywhere.
Yeah, because like she's
And like
close to the.
G1 Optimus, I think G1 Optimus is like the stealthiest vehicle of
Oh
all
yeah,
time. It's just a red
absolutely.
truck,
Yeah,
just a red
nobody.
semi truck. No one's gonna
If you
question.
yeah, like they did a good job representing that in the Rise of the Beast, because like
Yeah,
nobody would take a second look at that vehicle and think that's a robot
no,
in there. Everybody
just be
would
like,
look at
oh, it's
that.
a semi truck. Okay,
Yeah, it's basic.
something's getting shipped.
Yeah,
Something's moving.
it's the
Okay.
most basic of alt modes.
Yep.
Actually, I will say this: Rise of the Beast, I actually think does for the most part, outside of Mirage, of course, does a
Yeah.
better job of stealth than any of the Bay movies ever did for the Autobots.
Yeah, because even Wheeljack, or Pablo, he's like a beat up Volkswagen van.
Yeah, so it's like, especially for the time frame where the movie takes place,
Yep.
because it's like the '80s and '90s era. So it's kind of like
Yep.
nobody would give any of those vehicles a second shot,
Yep.
except for Mirage.
It's like, okay.
But of course, Mirage has to be the flashy, like he's
He's
the weirdest
a
one out of
Porsche.
that. Yeah, he's the
Yeah.
weirdest one out of that whole group, because he's like, oh, I'm gonna turn into all sorts of things. I'm like,
I love him. I love Robot Pete Davidson.
Yeah, he's hilarious. They gave Pete Davidson all the best lines in this movie. But I will say,
He was having fun with it. I hope he comes back.
Me too.
I hope he gets another movie. I loved him in this.
yeah, me too. I loved it. I think there was a. I still think Rise of the Beast is the best like live action Transformers movie in my opinion.
I very
It's
much
just-
agree. I think it and Bumblebee are the two best ones.
Yeah, I've heard a lot. I haven't actually
So.
sat down and watched Bumblebee yet, but I've seen clips and I have heard good things. And from
It's
what
very
I've
very
seen,
good.
It makes a lot, like for John Cena, they're literally called Decepticons. Is that not a red flag for you?
Yeah.
It's like that would be for me. It's like, hi, I'm Liar McLiarson. It's like, yeah,
Oh.
that's a red flag. Nope.
Hmm.
You are not a good guy.
That is sus.
That is sus. Anyway,
Their names are Dropkick and Shatter. What?
that doesn't sound good. Those don't sound friendly at all.
That's ominous.
What's this guy's name? Bumblebee. That's way friendlier.
Hmm.
But yeah, like also like yeah, for the most part, the names of all these characters are also like when you get to the bad guys, they're more, they're definitely.
I just thought of a pro that vehicle bots have that I've never seen a beast bot do.
Okay, what you got? What you got?
Triple changing.
Oh, there you go. Yeah,
There's like the sort of triple changing that the Transmetal 2s do,
yeah,
or the
that's kinda
Transmetal
like
ones do.
Yeah,
But it's
kinda-
not like another animal straight into an animal. They have fusors.
Yeah,
They have fusors,
yeah.
but they don't triple change.
Nope, they don't do that. Where they have like they don't
No.
have like two different alt modes. They usually, because they have like they kind of have a middle ground. Like I don't count that as an alt mode, honestly. I just count it as like having vehicle utility in an animal mode. That's just how I look at
Yeah,
Transmetals.
it's like I think they're called like transport modes in the instruction too.
Yeah,
They're
so
not.
they're not even really considered an alternate mode. They're just really considered like an extension of the beast mode.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
and then like they completely forgo it in Transmetal 2s. The
yeah.
only triple changer that I am aware of as far as Beast Wars is Optimal Optimus. He's the only one.
Oh,
The only reason he can do it is because he had to get a power up from an
yeah,
Autobot.
yep. And even then, he ditches a lot of his animal parts too.
Yeah, so he's literally like the only thing that's ape-like about him is like the head sculpt. That's
Yep.
kind of it. It's almost like being a robot in both modes. It's like now I'm a robot with a monkey head. That's
Yep.
Optimal Optimus.
I am a little shorter now.
Yeah. And he is yeah, pretty much. And like but he's also got like all these ridiculous like, oh, I've got a submarine mode, I've got a tank mode, I've got a jet mode. It's like
He's one of them. He's one of
Yeah.
those fiddle it until it gets into something.
and you know what's even funnier about that is we don't actually see all those modes until Megatron gets a hold of a copy of that body.
Yep.
Because in the Beast Wars thing, we
Yep,
only ever
Beast
saw him.
Machines.
Yeah, in Beast Wars, we only ever saw him take like a jet form. That was it. He was a
Yep.
fighter jet. We never see him do the tank thing. Like it's in the instructions on the toy, right? But in Beast Machines, they actually show him doing like all of
There's one Beast former, and I'm gonna count him because it's technically part of the Japanese version of the canon.
Okay, gotcha.
There's one Beast former who does triple change.
Oh, okay. Who are we counting?
It's Gigatron and Devil Gigatron, or RIDO1 Megatron.
I'm gonna have to Google that one because I don't know. Oh, wait, I think I
He's
know who that is.
he's that one. He's the one who has like 13 modes.
Yeah, yeah. He was kind of an abandoned mode for Beast Wars, wasn't he? And he's kind of was given to another Megatron in the other series.
It depends who you're asking and where you're reading.
Okay, gotcha.
Japanese G1. He's his own dude. He's his own guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But he sort of does it. He's the only one I can think of that like actively.
Yeah. So they have like what?
Has other modes.
Had two triple changers.
Two, and only one of them retains his yeast parts.
Yeah. And the other one's just literally goes like full like Dinobot style. It's like I'm a robot monkey.
Yeah.
Which
so some of the other pros for vehicles I got they blend into like civilizations a little better because a lot of civilizations will usually have some sort of we see it in Last Bot Standing where Rodimus he goes to this weird colony world and he turns into a covered wagon that they have. That's like so another pro for vehicles. Oh, sorry, go for it.
Oh no, so I was gonna say so vehicle modes actually are actually better for stealth, especially if they have a societal.
Yeah, it literally just like depend like it kind of depends on situation. Like obviously the Beast Wars guys they blend in pretty seamlessly, we'll say, with what's going on at that point on Earth.
Especially if we're
but like if there's like like creatures or a society, it might be better to turn into one of their vehicles because
and to be fair to the Rise of the Beast ones, from a distance, I don't think you would be able to tell the difference between them. You know what I mean? Like because they're so far away, it'd be kind of hard to tell the size. So you might just think they're closer than they actually are.
Especially Air Razor and Cheetor, those two looked spot on.
And they did a lot of hiding in the jungle. So even if you saw them, you might not be sure what you saw. Like you might not be sure if you like, you know what I mean? Like because in the shade of a tree line, from a distance, would you really be able to tell if that gorilla was robotic or not? I don't really know. I don't think so. I think you might be like, wow, that gorilla's really close. I need to get away before it sees me.
He got some mange on him. I should run.
Yeah, he's looking buffy. I'm gonna get out of here before I get pummeled. So yeah, but you might think of it like you might look at Primal and go, "That's a gorilla. That's a real gorilla." You might not. You wouldn't immediately register that is a machine in the shape of a gorilla, like they are in Rise of the Beast. But also like we kind of gotta ignoring the size argument of it. You know what I mean? Like in the jungle, like you may not notice is the point that I'm gonna get. Because like they've got things they can hide behind and distance, it may not register. To be fair, but for the most part, I will say this in a jungle or nature terrain, they do have an advantage there. But that's just because that's where animals are. Like if you saw a Cheetor out in the plains of Africa, it wouldn't register to you. Now if you saw Cheetor, in my small ass town in West Virginia, you might go, "Oh, that's not supposed to be here."
Yeah. One of the things that I gave both of them was both of them have built-in weapons, and as we discussed a little bit, obviously military vehicles are gonna have like that built-in weaponry.
And they're gonna be a little better about being able to fight in that mode.
Yep. Less kibble.
I was gonna say at first I would have given that point to the Beast bots because they were kind of the ones that inspired it.
I put it on both. So
which does make sense because in the content of Transformers, right? Like we at first back in G1, we only ever really saw military vehicles doing any kind of fighting, outside of
Yep.
the robot mode. And then when we got to Beast Wars, the Transformers teams started going, wait a minute, these guys are robots. They could find ways to fight with these modes in
Yep.
unique ways, like we saw with Megatron in a helicopter mode using it like a sword, you know,
Yeah.
without transforming into a robot. He's, you know what I mean. So from Beast Wars, I think inspired that. So then it's
Yeah.
it's now it's
100%.
kind of so now it's kind of a pro for both of them. They have combat
Yep.
ability in both modes. It's just military grade vehicles obviously give them the advantage.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry, continue.
I said that vehicle guys will have less kibble, which I'll talk about that more. So kind of their alternate mode envelops into them a little better. They're not as greebly. And then the last pro that I gave vehicle guys was which I added just a moment ago and we already talked about at length, was a triple changing.
Yeah.
Or multiple alternative modes.
Yeah.
Which is something that we did not see. Between the two of us, we named 2.
Yeah. Yeah. I can't think of any other Beast Wars era Transformers that are, and I don't really, like I said, we don't really count the Transmetals because they don't really have.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a full-fledged vehicle.
Anyway, well, what we were saying was because we got about 20-30 minutes left on the clock. I don't want this video to be too long.
All right. Fair.
Yeah. Basically what I was gonna say is the triple changer thing is like I don't really, like we said, we don't really count the vehicle animal mode mix thing that Transmetals have.
Yeah.
And Transmetal 2s, they kind of ignore that altogether. Like,
yeah, it goes straight back to just being like a techno animal thing.
Yeah. I will say this, I do think Cheetor moves faster as a Transmetal 2 than he did as he did originally.
I think he gets like rocket boosters.
Yeah, he's got a little rocket booster thing that's on his back.
Yeah.
Also his gun in robot mode, so there is a little bit of that. Also, Transmetal 2s have one more advantage that I haven't seen other Transformers have. I don't know for sure, but they almost have like a healing factor like Wolverine. Both Dinobot and
Cheetor
yeah. They, like, when they get damaged, they heal.
Yeah.
So that's one of their that is like, they're not the biggest, but they also are harder to hurt. So there's only 2 Transmetal 2s in the whole series. Like, there are other toys obviously, but they're the only ones in the show. Like, they got the Dinobot clone and they got Cheetor, and they're the only ones.
Yeah, that was like the big problem with Transmetal 2 is we just didn't see any of them.
Yeah, and I don't count. And I think they're the only ones that can count because like the Fusors are kind of their own thing too. Like they're not really, they're not Transmetal, but they also kind of are in a weird way.
I think Tigerhawk 2 is not Tigerhawk 2. Tigerhawk I think is considered a Transmetal.
Is he? Okay.
Oh, I don't know if he's a Transmetal or a Transmetal 2, but he's considered he's part of them.
I just mean like the Fusors in their look are kind of like
the Fusors are, at least Silverbolt and Quickstrike are considered regular Beast Wars guys.
Yeah, I just mean like in the way they look. They kind of look like Transmetals, but they're not.
Yeah,
that's all I'm saying. I'm just saying appearance wise. I don't know.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I don't think that they, like you said, I don't think they count as Transmetal 2s, but they're. Beast Wars has its own, like, just like regular Transformers has their own, like, kind of like categories and subcategories. Beast Wars has their own too, but
yeah.
So what about we could also mention like raw power. That's another talking point. Do we? I think that I don't know, out of the Beast War or the Maximals and Beast Wars era style robots, I don't know that there are any that are as brute force powerful as some of the G1 level guys. Like
it's a tough call. Because there's a lot of things that you see. Like there's Magmatron, who is supposedly like super crazy powerful. Same thing with RID-01 Megatron. If we're throwing the car robots in with the the Japanese Beast Wars continuity, and then there is no like, I don't know if there's a comparable thing other than like defeating Unicron that there is to make Beast Wars Megatron conquering and controlling all of Cybertron. That is a
Yeah.
pretty major accomplishment.
Yeah. And also like although it's also like there's also like method there. Like Megatron did it through like Beast Wars. Megatron did it through like being sneaky. You know what I mean? Instead of like
he's a schemer.
Yeah, he's a schemer, and that's the truth. Like that's the only thing that they actually kept from Beast Wars to Beast Machines with him. Like because obviously there's a whole thing behind that. That deserves its own video, but Beast Machines like tried to ignore Beast Wars, which is really dumb. But it's
changed a lot of the character values there.
Yeah, and it's really stupid because they're literally supposed to be a continuation of these characters, but ignore the history. Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. I was gonna say like I do think like for example I don't know I have out of the content I have seen personally because that's where I've got to draw from. The most powerful Beast Wars characters seem to be Optimal Optimus, Megatron when he gets the Dragon mode, and Tiger Hawk. They seem to be like the most powerful ones.
I would agree with that. I think that those guys are probably upper echelons of the
Beast Wars era
of the Beast Wars power scaling.
Yeah, and then like under
specifically like Tiger Hawk, especially.
Yeah, because he gets powers that like other Transformers don't have. Like he has guns and stuff too, but he's like a walking armory. But he's also like able to hurl lightning bolts for some reason. Or
he's empowered by the Vok, which is crazy.
Yeah. So, and like, come on, it took a Decepticon warship to take him down. So, in a versus battle where I'm picking a random G1, G2 era Transformer versus like someone like Tiger Hawk, I still am not convinced that Tiger Hawk could overpower somebody like what's the like one of the bigger robots? It's like Trypticon or the
Trypticon, like any of the Titans.
Yeah.
But even throwing the Titans to the side, Power Master Optimus could probably take him.
Yeah, I don't even know, but I'm not sure. Like I'm actually positive that Armada, or not Armada. What's the Cybertron? War for Cybertron Optimus. The one that's like where it's the same voice actor as Primal.
With the that's Transformer Cybertron. Okay, that's Transformer Cybertron.
Yeah, I'm convinced that Optimus Prime probably could take Tigatron in a Tiger Hawk fight. I straight up think it. It's not, so I do think that there is like a raw power thing that the Autobots and Decepticons have over them.
Not to like. And this is a weird comic to make this comparison from, but it kind of falls to your point where you're saying like, oh, the vehicle guys are stronger than the beast guys. There is a comic, Last Bot Standing, which I've mentioned earlier, where Hot Rod basically wipes out the remaining Cybertronians, which includes a few Beast Wars characters. And and granted, everyone's low on Energon at this point. I think Rodimus is only walking around because he got the Matrix. But he's taken names and he caps off a lot of the Beast guys from RID 2015, and he caps off a few Beast characters from the original series. So I think it does stand to say that either maybe it's just because they quite literally might be built different, so they are a little more resilient.
Also, like it may depend on who it was. Like I said, like if it was
exactly
Dinobot or Cheetor from like Transmetal 2, it might be a different story. But like it just like I said,
exactly.
But that's just because they also have like Tiger Hawk, Transmetal 2, Cheetor, and the Dinobot clone are like they are arguably the most powerful, but only
Rampage too.
Things. Rampage, oh my god, he's
Protoform X. Completely forgot a Protoform X. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He might be the one who gives any of them a run for their money.
Yeah.
He's a monster. He's disgusting.
The dude is sadistic. He's got the firepower. I mean, like literally, Depth Charge had to blow himself up with him to take him down. Like, they had to use he used like a piece of raw energon as a knife and stabbed the dude in his like soul. Or half of a soul or whatever.
And the crazy thing about that is if you look at the deleted like the proposed trans tech documents, Depth Charge and Rampage survived. And they would have been in the sequel series Beast Machines, which is Trans Tech. They would have been in that.
That
So
would be
so
insane.
who? Yeah. Um,
Yeah, like
I would like to talk about the cons for
yeah,
each. I
okay.
have very few cons because being able to turn into anything is a pretty big bonus.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
I
so
agree.
it's hard. It's hard to think
Okay, so what
of
are the
some,
cons
but
for
for the beasts,
yeah, we'll start there.
so one of the pros was that they are small. I also
Mhm.
put that under cons
That
because
that
some
makes
you
sense.
if you go up against like Scorponok or Black Zarak over here, they're just gonna step on you and you're dead.
Yeah.
You're done.
Like I'm
Um,
pretty sure Bumblebee could just punt Rat Trap. Just
yeah. Um, then I put down that they are. This is specific to the flyers.
Mhm.
They are not nearly as fast as like a
Oh yeah.
jet.
No.
Like, and I
They
guess
gotta
you could
go to
apply this to
robot
some of the
mode.
other guys, and
Yeah.
yeah, you could
They gotta
apply
go
it
to
to
like
like some of the
robot mode to like keep up with them at all. Like Air
yeah,
Razor
you,
and Pterosaur have to go robot mode if they're gonna keep up with anyone like Starscream. And even then,
yep,
like remember when Starscream took over Waspinator's body? He was kicking their ass.
yep.
He was
That's
like
that.
single handedly taking out the Maximals. Like there's also a level of like maybe they might also be better at combat in general. I mean, like
Well,
just
you have to remember that both sides are kind of so. I think Optimus Primal's team is a transport crew, and
mhm.
then um Megatron's team is like espionage guys.
Yeah, yeah,
So they're not fighting at their max.
yeah. They're
The
not
final
like
con I said for Beasts
mhm.
comes directly from the animated series,
Okay.
the which is Shell, which is the fact that a lot of those Beast Wars 2 and Beast Wars Neo guys
Mhm.
just have their alt mode hanging off of their arms or off their back. It's a lot of kibble
Yeah,
and a lot of big round animal pieces just kind of hanging off of them.
yeah, and
They are
that's
very kibbly.
very yeah, that's very relevant, and I think to mention it because it's also very well seen in the toys too.
Yep.
Like I
That.
can literally, I'm literally looking at a picture of what's his name, Convoy here, Big Convoy. Like
Yep.
the kibble
He
is like
is. He's
literally
all.
all kibble right there. I know it's a blurry image,
Yep.
but you guys can see him. That
He
like
he is one of the few toys where you could take all of the alt mode parts off of him and have an elephant directly right next to him.
yeah,
You can have the mammoth mode stand next to him while he's in robot mode. It's kind of insane.
yeah. I yeah, it's very much like the kibble on the outside. I mean, like, and sometimes the Beast Wars characters can get away with using it like weapons and stuff.
Yeah.
But like for the most part, like you got to go to the smaller bots if you want to. Like, let's be real, like especially or transmetal ones, like let's be real,
Mhm.
the McDonald's Transformers, they're so simple, but they
Yeah.
but they're the example of like the kibble not really being a problem because it's literally like two motions and boom, there you got a robot.
Yep.
But if you go, but yeah, like Leo Convoy, Rat Trap, Rhinox,
Yeah, any of the little
like
Beast Wars flip changer guys like Pterosaur and Razor Beast and
no,
Terragator, all of them just have basically just like split open like that, and then their whole beast mode is just like a pancake on their back.
yeah. So it's yeah, I would argue with they're definitely better about the kibble side of things. Like even I will say this, they do got better articulation toy wise. But that's just
Oh
because
yeah,
they
a lot
were
of the Beast Wars stuff.
yeah, but that's just because they were coming off of the back of G1 and
Yep.
they weren't very articulate yet. Now on the other
No,
hand, there's
we
a
got
little
some
more
G2 dudes who are pretty good.
yeah. I was gonna say if you look at modern Transformers toys, they're all pretty articulate now, but
Oh
they
yeah.
weren't back in the 80s and 90s. um, so here's the and like I said, I am convinced though that there is like they might actually be better at combat. Like I said, like that one
Yeah.
episode with Starscream taking over Waspinator's body, he was single handedly whipping the Maximal's ass.
Yeah, that also could be just he was Air Commander Starscream.
Yeah,
It could just be he is more skilled than those characters.
yeah. There is a
Um
level of that. I mean, like, and it's not to say that any of them are a slouch in combat. Like, obviously,
yeah. Yeah.
Dinobot is not to be
Dinobot is the prime
underestimated.
example.
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
like
him and
literally each.
Rampage, I think.
Yeah, if Dinobot hadn't died, I think he could have gone toe to toe with Rampage. I think he
Yeah.
had
hundred
Like
percent.
I don't think he could have won, but I think that fight in the long run. But like you know how like Depth Charge died along in the fight with him.
Yep.
I think that Dinobot you could easily replace Dinobot and have the same scenario happen, and
Yeah.
Dinobot could have done it in that way. I mean, man, that
Yeah.
dude is
Um,
he was a beast. No pun
I
intended.
have only one con for the vehicle mode Transformers, but it is
Yeah.
probably the worst thing ever.
Am I gonna groan?
Um,
Maybe.
no.
Okay.
Um,
What do we got?
so the vehicle mode con is society or humanity or civilizations.
Oh yeah, they're kind of
Because
dependent on
we
that.
see multiple times in the G1 cartoon where someone like specifically Autobop or Make Tracks, that the episode where Raul carjacks Trax, crashes him into a wall, and then Trax is stuck in vehicle mode. We
Yeah,
see stuff like that happen all the time.
that's another one though. Like when you think about it, like their alt mode is kind of
Mhm.
dependent on there being a society.
Yep,
So the
because
beast bots do have an advantage in that scenario because like the beast bots,
yep,
you know, they don't need it. They just need, oh, there's a living being on here. Cool, I'll just copy
yep,
that.
they need some kind of fauna, whereas the vehicle guys, who we've seen some of the vehicle guys take beast modes before. We've seen
Yeah.
we specifically, I think Optimus has taken a beast mode a couple of times. I might be wrong on that. I know Sideswipe had a beast mode at one point. There was a figure of that.
Yeah, well, I
Um,
mean, they're in one version of the story. Ironhide has taken two
oh,
beast
that's right.
modes.
Yeah, Magnaboss. Magnaboss is apparently G1 guys. It's
Yep.
G1 Silverbolt, G1 Ironhide, and G1 Prowl.
Yeah,
G1 Prowl. That's his name.
and
It's
they're
them.
yeah. There's also
And
like I was gonna say with Ironhide, there's a version of him where he becomes like a bull or something, and then there's another
yep.
version of him in the Transformer show I referenced earlier, where the one
Mhm.
I said that Optimus would beat Tigerhawk. The
Yeah.
Ironhide from that one becomes Leo Breaker, so I mean it's a beast mode, so
Yeah.
uh,
So it's yeah, they definitely they've taken there's some G1 dudes who've taken beast modes. There's some beast era characters. It's like the beast guys had vehicle modes before going to Earth.
yeah. So
Um we
in
know that not only from the show, we know it from auxiliary media too.
yeah, like stuff that's like comics that came out after and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And, which actually, one thing I will say this: the comics are better at this than the shows are always. Comics are always better at this in general, but they are better at showing what these characters are capable of. Generally,
Yes.
just because, like, let's be real, it's a lot easier to draw it happening than show it happening in animation or in live action. So
It's a lot cheaper too.
yeah, like because how like if I really wanted to show how powerful like Superman is, right? Like I could literally draw an entire page of panels of him like punching a planet into oblivion. But if I try to put that in a movie, that's going to be a lot of CGI budgeting, and I'm going
Yep.
to have to pay for an actor to like
Yep.
do the
It's a
motion.
lot cheaper to do it
Yeah,
in comic books.
yeah. So so comic books pro to the comic books because they actually get to show what these characters are actually capable of and show just how nuts they are, and they have like all of them have shown like stuff like the comic books have shown that Dinobot is actually a more competent like combatant than he is in the show. Like he's very
Yeah.
militaristic in the Beast Wars
Yeah.
cartoon, but the comic books actually show no, this guy can fight when he has no weapons at all. Like
Yep.
he can do it with his bare hands. So can Optimus Prime, Primal. They're better at showing those other aspects. So so I guess we can go ahead and get to the conclusion then of what who we think is actually which alt modes we think are better. And like I said, it for me, I think my opinion is relatively unchanged. I think it just kind of depends on
Mhm.
what your alt mode is needed for, you know.
Yeah.
And but if we're gonna go, if it's just pure stats like pros and cons, I'm gonna give it to the vehicle modes because
I I think so too. There's a lot more thing because vehicles are kind of like are man-made devices.
yeah,
They are able to cover a wider array of things easier.
mm-hmm.
They're able to
Also, you have
specialize
to.
into more specific things. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. What?
I was gonna say also you have to remember like in the world in the realm where Transformers exist, we humans are not the only species that exist. There are other aliens out
Yeah,
there that also have vehicles. So and probably also have animal life too, but we don't but they don't really focus on that.
yeah,
So
and even
arguably
even Cybertronian vehicles.
yeah, which are
Yeah,
very strange, but whatever. They're oftentimes they're the same as ours. They're just without the wheels. They hover and stuff like that.
yeah, it just floats or
Yeah,
something.
like I literally remember there was like a version of Bumblebee where he's literally still a Volkswagen Beetle but without the wheels and he just hovers. That's basically his alt mode. I'm like, all right, whatever. Um, but
I
like,
like the one from the War for Cybertron game where it's like a computer mouse.
yeah, yeah, whatever, man. I'm not judging. Whatever, it works. But so vehicles are kind of existing across like multiple societies in their world. So there's also like, and not all those worlds probably have animals, or they have animals that a Cybertronian maybe would want. Like, there's no advantage to taking the form of them. You know,
Yeah,
arguably, like for example, in Beast Wars, there was an advantage to being taking any beast form because,
yeah,
like, they had to survive the Energon. Uh, Also, they had to try to blend in with what was there, so the only other
yep,
option was rocks and plants, which we've also
yep,
seen. That's
and
another.
yeah, even going to like the like some of the comic books and to the other shows like Transformers Cybertron, like you mentioned earlier, there was a planet, the Beast Planet Biosphere. On that planet, you'd want a beast mode.
Yeah,
That's the Beast Planet. So like
yeah.
obviously you'd want a beast mode. You wouldn't want to be a car there.
No, and then on the other
Yeah.
planet where the one with
Yep.
the lightning
But on
bolts,
Velocitron,
you want to be a
yeah,
fast vehicle. You want to be a vehicle
you
that
want to
has
be a
speed on
sports
it.
car or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speed is the name of
So
the game over there. So it's so in a more nuanced way. If you're just going stats, pure stats, vehicle modes are better. If you're going for a
yeah,
more nuanced take, it's more it depends.
it
Yeah,
yeah.
it's
Um,
so also like another thing that we didn't really talk about, which is kind of a side thing to this, is there are also transformers that don't transform into vehicles or animals. They're just rare. There are transformers that turned into rocks. There are transformers that have turned into plants.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, we just
So
got some new Rock Lords. We just got a couple new ones. We just
and
got Magnius and the other one. Forget his name.
I remember seeing
Yeah.
an advertisement for like literally a transformer does this like in robot mode, rock mode.
Yep.
That's all it
Yeah.
does.
Rock Lords.
It's
They're canon again. They're
yeah.
back.
And now that they've got like rock vehicles, I'm like, oh yay, Fred
Yep.
Flintstone can combine.
Yep. There's a rock helicopter coming out super soon named Shard.
Oh my god, it's great.
I'm excited.
Transformers are fantastic, man. They got like all sorts of crazy shit. Like they are literally, I think in all of fiction, Transformers have the craziest amount of alt modes. Like we've seen them.
Just like, why does it do that?
Yeah, they're like
uh,
they transform into all sorts of things, vehicles,
I
animals, weapons, humans. We've seen them turn into humans before.
yeah, pretenders. Yeah, pretenders.
Pretenders.
They turn into monsters, monster people, spacemen. I actually have a couple. I have a pretender right here. I have one of the new ones. And whoop, there it is.
Yeah,
There he is.
it's so
Oh
weird.
man.
They're the weird like Transformers are weird. Sometimes they're more than they're all of it. They're like, oh, I am an animal and a robot and a robot animal, and it's like what?
Oh my, yeah. I think the answer to what is the best vehicle mode or like what is the superior like transformation, the answer is obviously like a multi-changer, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
if you're a multi-changer and you like if you're six shot, right, you're set. You can turn into he's a car, a tank, a boat, submarine, a flying tiger,
six shot. What do you transform into? Yes.
everything. No, that's Megatron. That's the one Megatron that has 13 May. What do you turn into? What do you want me to turn into?
What do you want me to? That doesn't sound like a. That sounds like
I could do it.
Megatron's like a prostitute. It's like, what do you want me to turn into, babe?
Name your price. I'll do it.
I don't know why I turned him into like that prostitute from Family Guy, but. Oh, but there you go.
I got 13 modes. I could already add a few more.
You know. Alrighty, so I think that we've established that for the most part, vehicle modes are better. More nuanced answer is kind of, whatever you need it to be. It just kind of give and
Yeah.
take, depends on situation. Like, I wouldn't want to put it this way. I wouldn't want to be a rock transformer in the city. I'm just gonna end up getting bulldozed or something. They're gonna be like, "Why the fuck is this rock here?" God, I don't know. But so for the more nuanced answer, it just kind of depends. It's situational. But if we're going pure statistics, vehicles. But that is our opinion. If you guys made it to the end of this video, let me know in the comments below, and make sure you give a sub to my friend here, Bots Obsession. I'll have a link in the description and in the pinned comment. So later. Oh, and subscribe to me, damn it! I need some subs too. I almost forgot.
Follow Brian 10,000 on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram and Twitter. And do you have a Blue Sky yet?
No. I'll add it to the to-do list. All right, guys. Peace.